Welcome to this video, and on this video I'm going to be telling you how music makes money now, right? If you want to understand all the bands you like, if you want to understand the music you like, why it's there, who innovated this, why this happened, you have to take on the fundamental idea that the music industry was born within a capitalist system, and it was capitalism that drove and motivated people to get involved and use their intuition, use their sideways thinking, and use their talents to extract money out of punters who loved music. And they've tried everything they possibly can over the last 100 years. The great revelation for music happened when recorded music was invented. To start off with, people didn't quite know to know. So what was the first thing that was ever recorded? But it wasn't music, was it? It was somebody speaking. It was somebody saying Mary had a little lamb. And at that point, once you've got music, it takes a while for people to realize, oh God, you could sell this. You could package this up. Edison wanted to do this. But Edison didn't want people to have music in their homes. He wanted to have a machine that you would sort of walk in and put your money in and then walk in, and it would be, you put the headphones on and you'd listen to something at a fair or something like that. So that's how this is how wrong they were about it. But at some point, they invented records and people started to buy records. Suddenly they had music in their house. This must have been one of the greatest changes ever in society. I always think this is an incredible thing. There must have been millennia that when people have actually settled down in their little cave or hovel, all they had was each other. And nothing came from outside at that point. It would have been a very localized experience, sat there like this, maybe telling stories, maybe singing a few songs, but you all together. And then suddenly they invent books, don't they? And now people can buy books or pamphlets, they can read stories, and they're sat there at candlelight. And people must have worked, and their reward would have been to go home. Their entertainment would have been to go home and read this story. And this story is coming from outside, right? They could then buy prints of paintings and put them on the wall. Suddenly, art's coming into normal people's lives. This is really quite recent. Now, music is the great emotional art form. It's much more visceral. And it's because our senses, our hearing senses are so all around us. I can focus on you. I'm looking at you now, you see. I can focus on you. I don't know what's going on behind me. But I can't when it comes to sound. If there's a sound here or here, I'm like, what's that sound? And because of that, when music which does not describe things like a story and does not paint pictures like a painting, it provides this sort of ambience, and that affects the emotions. And so it must be mind-blowing when you could buy your recording of Caruso and have some Italian bloke stood there, which must have sounded like another world, and that little ghostly voice come through in your house from outside, affecting your emotions. Now, around about 1860 to 87 is when recording was invented. They do 50 odd years before they think, let's try and record some jazz or blues. And when they do, it changes everything. And I believe the recorded music industry starts with the recordings of jazz in the late teens and early 1920s. And I think jazz was so important because it had a groove, so you could dance to it. So that's great. You have a jukebox, everyone can dance. You don't have to have a band, you can dance. You can dance to the best, funkiest music ever going. You can dance to jazz and blues, which, you haven't got if you live in a place where you haven't got that. And that's really groovy because they're all about that. Right, you can hear individual voices. You could go, that sounds like Louis Armstrong. That's Bessie Smith, and you can buy into that. That creates the pop star. The pop star is someone who does not sound like your standard singer like Caruso. It's someone who's got a completely individual voice. Individual voices come important. And improvisation. Why is improvisation important? Because it can be captured by recording, but more to the point, an improvising band can now, on the spot in the studio, create something that works in the studio. That's where the music industry is invented, right? And at that point, it's like, we can sell these records. Oh my God. And everything becomes about selling records. The radio is about selling records. Going on tour is about selling records. Appearing on the television is about selling records. Getting your records on the radio is about selling records. Getting your records in the film is about selling records. Right at the bottom of it is you're selling records. And all these things emerge, radio, television, MTV, all these things emerge in the 20th century, but right at the bottom of it, the record industry is like going, get them to sell records. And then they can sell CDs. And it all goes on like this. Then suddenly the rug gets pulled out and you can't sell CDs anymore. Why aren't anyone buying CDs? I mean, we've got them for 20 quid. I mean, they only cost us £1. This is brilliant. The profit margin is huge. Brilliant. And now we've got CDs. We're just putting up albums that we put out 20 years ago and making the same money again. They're all buying it. This is just money for old road. Let's just sit back and not worry about anything. We've got it made now. This is 2000. We've got it made. 20 quid for a CD. We've got it made. So what are we doing at the moment? Oh, are we? That's quite good. Well, all the Led Zeppelin albums we're going to re-release again. Yeah, we'll do that. Once we re-release them again, should we release them again? Yeah, let's do that. What shall we do then with Zeppelin? Shall we release them again? Yeah, let's do that. And that's basically what they thought their life would be. Metallica bring their album out. What's happened? Oh, everyone's got the album. Why? Napster. That's it. Over. Can't make money out of albums anymore. The bottom drops out of it. And so there's been a mad scramble to go, well, how do we make money? How do we make money? How can we make money out of it? I don't know. And so they tried everything. But the technology is moving to us a certain place, isn't it? Before you know, other companies that aren't part of the music industry go, there's all this music out there, we could stream it online and sell advertising off it. What about the artist? That doesn't matter, does it? It's all there, go on, just grab it. What do you mean? What do you mean? You buy an iPhone and you've got all the recorded music in history? Yeah. What, just at your fingertips? Yeah. That'll sell the iPhone, surely, if you've got that there. Well, I suppose you've got a point. Yeah, do that then. What about copyright? It's like the radio, isn't it? It's like they'll get some money for it. Yeah, well, it won't be very much, will it? But they never got much when it was played on the radio, will it? The big artists they won't mind. Record companies won't mind. Once we can explain to them that they're going to be able to put all their old catalogue up again and make even a little bit more money, oh yeah, that might work. What about the artists? It doesn't matter. What about new music? Now we've got AI coming in. That'll be making the new music. It'll give people exactly what they want. We won't have to work with all these weird musicians anymore. So the industry, it's going exactly where it wants to go. The question would be, I would say, is once the bottom dropped out, where do you make your money? Well, if you're an established artist already, but no one's buying your albums anymore, right? If you're old, you'll still make an album. What should we do next? Well, don't we just make an album and then go on tour, make an album and go on tour? Is that what we do? Well, there's no point in doing that. I don't know what I've done. I don't know what to do. Can't we just make another album anyway? But it's only going to be bought by about 25 people. Once it's out there, it's going to be bloody on all over Spotify anyway, I suppose we can stick it on Bandcamp, but nobody listens to that, do they? Bloody hell. Just make the album anyway. Where are you going to do it? I don't know. We'll just do it myself. I mean, I've got my studio in my house now, so I don't have to go to a record company to do this. Maybe I could sell the CD on the gig. People might do if I sign it. Yeah, but you'll only be selling about 100 or 200. Yeah, but I'll be able to make some money off it. Well, come on, let's go out and tour and do that then. So that's how CDs got sold. That's how people sell CDs. That's what it is really like minority artists that have a direct link with their audience and sell them direct to them. And the hardcore fans buy them just like they own them, but they don't listen to them, mate, unless they've only got a CD player in the car. That's the only time I ever listen to CDs. I've got a CD playing car. I've got this all advanced, stick your iPhone in and go on Spotify or my car. I'm too old for that. But that's the scrapings that we've got. Some people have nice stereos at home and they want to listen to decent music and good systems. They might buy CDs. Vinyl's come back a bit, hasn't it? Oh yeah, vinyl. It's expensive to make vinyl now. And the numbers don't really make up for how expensive it is. But there's vinyl there. You can still sell product, but it's not really the centre of where we make our money. So what have we got left? Well, it's going to have to be the gigs. But the gigs have never made any money. You know how expensive if you go out on tour? We're looking if we cut even. Well, let's stick the ticket prices up. Well, I suppose so. But why will they come when it's like 200 quid to see us? Because we'll make out that you're legends and that this is the chance to be in the same room as someone. And they've all got our mobile phones now, so they won't really care about the music or what you're playing, but at least they can photograph you and then photograph themselves in the thing and go, we're going to see so-and-so today. Oh my God, that's great, isn't it? Suppose is that the slim pickings I've got now I'm 70 years old? I'm afraid it is. And so the old guard are doing that, and they stuck the ticket prices up. No new band can get into this, so new bands can't sell CDs. If they're going to do anything, they have to give it away. Where's the money made? For new bands, they must be thinking, where's the money made? And what they do is go, I don't know. Well, maybe we should just do what everyone used to do. Yeah, so we'll go in a room, write some songs, then we'll record the songs. Once we've got 6, we'll go out and do a gig to all our mates. And then we'll realise that that's it. There's no other thing we can do. Well, how do we get famous then? People must be getting famous. Yeah, but it's all machines, isn't it? It's all computers. It's all producers. Auto-tuned. It's just dance music, isn't it? That's still going on, but no one's making any money, right? So if you start looking at it, you get quite desperate. But there is a positive to this. And I'm now going to spend the second half of this video trying to explain the positive to you. The advent of the internet had some minor, but still quite, what's the word? Earth-shattering. I've lost my words now. I've gone all inarticulate. Outcomes for the music that we like here. Right? So it's interesting, this one. Progressive rock, jazz, fusion, all that was pre-punk. We were all told it was terrible. It went sidelined. If you're into that music, you're a weirdo and you like all this weird music and none of your friends like it. You got no one to talk to, but you love this stuff. That's what it was like for me. I would sit there, got no one to talk to about 11th House. No, never met anyone else who likes 11th House except me. I try and get my mates into it. They're not interested. They want into Dire Straits. So that's what it was like for me in the 1980s. My favourite band's 11th House. Returned to Forever. Weather Report. I don't want to talk to. It's a bit boring, this is. Right, so that's what that was like, right? These progressive rock bands, right, they keep going. And what was interesting is that when I was coming up in the 1980s, right in this sort of post-punk, new romantic blip, there was this thing called neo-prog. And it seemed to be an offshoot of new wave of British heavy metal. And that was like that. And that's what I got pulled up in. And it was a bit like outsider music. And these neo-prog bands, they had a bit of success, especially in Marillion in the 1980s. And then it all went away. But they was able to, because the music was so strange and weird and unlike anything else that was out there, and it all sort of referred back to music in the 1970s, they had a very particular fan base. Genesis were out there doing prog. Yes, we're out there doing prog. So if these people want to hear something like prog, they've got to go to the neo-prog bands. And they're making proper prog. And it sounds like old prog. And so once they get dropped from their major label deals, they go, well, we've got an audience. We've got a fan club. We've always done it ourselves anyway. Let's just go direct to them. And these progressive rock bands, including the band I used to play for, IQ, but most notably Marillion, started to get their fans to be the label, to basically put up the money to make the next album. And in the early 90s, before the internet even existed, these bands with progressive rock and the whole weird music had created something that enabled those bands to get out, tour and sell records and do stuff like that. Now, when I joined IQ in 2005, we were in the process of realising that now people could put torrent files up of albums. And so we would spend like 20,000 quid to make an album, put it out there and getting the money back and then going out on tour. But now everyone was just hearing the album as it came out. I went through that. And I can remember back then, if you were like an independent weirdo music type of artist, you could make your own album and then you could go to Pinnacle, which was the worldwide distributor, give all your 1,000 albums that you've paid, and they would get it in the shops all over the world. And people could buy them in Japan and in South America. And you could have a worldwide distributed CD and make some money off it. And then this one day, because of what was going up with the downloading and all this, and Napster and the torrent files and all the organised crime that was behind that, Pinnacle just died. And all our albums were just lost. They were just, there was no company to get them back. There was no company to sell them. If they got to the shops, they just sold them off and get the money themselves. Pinnacle went. And there was a moment where everyone went, well, what do we do now? And at that point, I started to see that the fees for the gigs started to drop and the money started to go down like this at that point. And I could see, I got quite disillusioned. I sort of got out. There's a whole bunch of reasons why I got out of all this when my kids were born, but that was one of the reasons. But what was interesting was that as the internet emerged, the weirdo music community that was out there, they loved it. They moved straight over. If you go to a website like the Progressive Rock Archives, it's incredible. It's run by a bunch of hardcore progressive rock fans. It's linked into progressive rock fans all over the world. And because progressive rock fans are anal retentive and have got like OCD, it's so thorough. I use it all the time on this site. Everything's there. So these communities went online and suddenly you've got someone to talk about 11th House. And actually albums that you spent your whole time looking for, they're now there. You can listen to anything. You can become experts in this. Right? And so there's me. I'm in the music industry. I'm toddling along. And I just walk into this situation here where another aspect of me altogether, which is being a fan of this music, right? I start to do that online. Now, I used to be a college lecturer. I'm used to talking. I know how to tell a story. I know how to get people to follow something through. I can sort of do that at the drop of a hat, but I also know about all this weird music. And so I have started to have a community here. And the thing is, what's going on is exactly what the internet had already realised. Those of you who are watching this channel, you're a demographic. You're probably male. You are probably middle-aged to late middle-aged, maybe even a real old fogey, right? You are quite intelligent. You might work in computer programming, or you might even be a college lecturer because you like prog and that's very intellectual. You may be a musician because a lot of musicians watch this channel. So the ideal person, I would say, is a male who plays a bit of guitar, that works in a university or works in IT or something like that. They're clever enough to have set up a bit of a studio on the side. They listen to all sorts of music. They don't get pulled into the genre thing. They like lots of different things because that's what my channel does. There was a lot of different music being covered on here. And you're interested in what I say, partly because I talk about the bands that no one else talks about, and partly because I worked in the industry, so I've got some wisdom to impart about that. That's my demographic. So the internet knows that it can sell guitars to this audience. It can sell computer stuff to this audience, sophisticated computer stuff, right? It could sell maybe other academic things that are quite interesting. They know what you are that are watching this. And so YouTube comes along at a certain point and goes, you know your audience is watching you. And you go, yeah, I know that. Well, we're going to partner up with you. And so I am so surprised that there seems to be some money there to come my way, which comes from advertising by placing products in front of an audience that love this music. Now, the artist plays a less than central role. And so my realization was I'd gone from being the artist to being what used to be the magazine, the vessel that markets this stuff with my YouTube channel. Well, I want to show you something here. I wasn't going to show you this, but I get this all the time. When I arrived here this morning, this letter had been sent to me. I get messaged all the time. And so this arrived this morning. Whoever said that, you are very lucky, because I just happened to stumble that what you have sent me is relevant to my video today. But literally, I get hundreds of these. And the letter says, written in capitals in hand, Dear Andy, now go and say I get hundreds of these, most usually emails, messages on Instagram, messages to my email. I also get letters coming to the studio here like this. This is happening all the time. Dear Andy, Rob Luft. He's a guitar protege of your friend Jim Mullen. Now, Jim Mullen's not my friend. He just happened to be on the channel, but I have had him on the channel. And so Jim Mullen's obviously taught him for something. Some of you may know who Rob Luft is. I don't know who Rob Luft is. And it says in brackets, and Rob Luft is a product of the elite jazz education system that you have a problem with. I haven't got a problem with the elite jazz. I'm part of it. I used to teaching it. I'm just commented on it, you see. Right, so straight away I'm reading this. I don't know, quite sure of that. Making a lot of assumptions about me. His 3 albums under his own name are all enjoyable, especially the latest one, Dahab Days. So I'm shouting out, go and check out now, as part of this video, just to see what happens, Rob Luft and his album Dahab Days, and then report back and say what you think in the comments. They are actually going to be able to access the marketable abilities for free. I'm giving it for free now, so that some of you may go, hang on, this Andy's got a point here. I can see what he's saying. He works with a truly distinctive drummer, Corey Dick. They're winding me up. Corey Dick. A million jokes can follow on for that, but I won't say that. In his quartet and quintet, he is an ECM artiste in duet with his partner, the Swiss-Albanian singer, Alina Dooney. He also plays with John Sermon, the legend that is John Sermon. So this Rob Luft's the real deal, isn't he? That's interesting. Oh, and his one-off album with Big Bad Wolf, in inverted commas, Pon Life, is a remarkable trombone-heavy prog jazz recorded. Check out the track Frog. Oh, there's a lot of things to do, isn't there? I'm not going to do any of them. You know why? Because at some point, I got so distraught that all these artists that I wanted to help, that I couldn't help them. Because I did start doing it and I've dipped my toe in it. You know what happens to the views? Rob Luft, check him out. Tell me what he's like. Right? Who knows? Now, the thing is, right, what's just happened then? Because this guy is one of the few that's got through. You know, like those people that came out of the trenches in World War I and that to march across, and then when they finally got to the end, they were still alive. They looked around and everyone else hadn't got through. Why me? Why was it me? What's so special about me? What's so special about Rob Luft that he's had this bit of, you know, thing on this channel? Now, this video I'm doing is an esoteric video. No one's going to watch this one. It's a shame. This is going to be a 2,000 or 3,000 views. It's not going to be a 50,000 views. For that, I've got to, you know, say how I hate everything and do top 10s and do all that stuff that I don't want to do, but that's what I have to do to be here. Right? This is the deal. It's always been like this. And the point I'm making here is the audience I've got here is important because you lot love good music, right? And I am able to be here doing this every day because there are adverts on this video which are tuned into what you like, right? It is not Rob Luft that brings people to watch this, even though he's got a CV like that and played with John Sermon, who's one of the greatest musicians of the 20th century. British jazz music is incredible. It's not Rob Luft. It's not even John Sermon. All the interviews I've done with those greats, they don't get the views. What gets the views is this legacy. It's this legacy of people who want to be involved in the form of music they love and they want to have a conversation about it. It's the stories. And the fact that this letter that arrived in the post, and the fact that I like to sort of show off the things that these videos are just happening on the spur of the moment. You know, I've arrived today to do a video. There was a letter pushed through my letterbox. What's this? I opened it up. Oh, someone else just wants me to push their music online. I wish they realised that I haven't got a chance to read all of these. And if I was to do anything on this bloke, it would kill my channel. And if you go, whoa, really? Yep. Really? Right, do you think there would be nothing greater than for me to turn up every day and to push a great artist that I really like? This Rob Luft's obviously a great player. We know that. Look at the bloody thing. He's a great player. There's millions of them out there. There's millions of great players out there. There's millions of people who play jazz and play fast and have worked with these people. There's millions and millions. Everything, there's enough of it to go around. There's always too much of it. Right? You have to understand where the money is. And now the money exists in the legacy of this music form, not in the new music. It exists in the legacy. And new artists are basically leeching off the old music in the same way as I'm leeching off the old music by talking about it and being able to get to a demographic. This all doesn't sound that hopeful, does it? It doesn't sound that hopeful, right? Now, I'm going to say how I think music, the positive thing. And if Mr. Luft is watching this, then this would be my advice to him. What's your story? You need a story. You always need a story. You always need a story from the beginning of time. There needs to be a story. Just play good jazz, you know, it's minority interest. You'll never make a living out of it. If you've got your own funds behind you to keep going or whatever, maybe you lecture in a college or I don't know, whatever it is that keeps musicians going. But if you want to take the music that we cover here, you have to add a story to it. It might be the story that you're a bunch of really trendy people. You've got this great big studio and you've got all your trendy mates out and they put all their headphones on and they listen to really heavy jazz. And when the solo gets going on the spur of the moment, you can see on the reaction of all these cool people and you go, oh, cool people like this weird jazz. I will have to like it. That's a cool story. That is the sort of snarky puppy thing. Or you could be a bunch of weirdos all sat in your house and you know, you're not playing drums, you're playing pots and pans and it's really, really funky. And you look like the sort of outcast from a David Lee Roth video of a nerd from 1985. You're dressed like that, you know, and that is your Wolfpack. You know, you could be a very clever, you know it all like Adam Neely, who knows everything about everything. And now he's got this band and he's been able to create a market for his music. Or you could be like me, right, talking about lots of old prog and jazz and fusion, and then being able to eke out a tiny, tiny amount of listenership for my actual own music, which is what I would love it to be the case. But I realistically know that is not at the center of it, right? That what's actually at the center of this is something that I find absolutely bizarre. And it's the fact that the way I deliver this information does what all great music should do, which is be like Marmite. Now, Marmite's Vegemite, right? And here in the UK, we have this saying, it's Marmite, which means you either love it or you hate it. I act in a way, which is an exaggerated way, so people either love me or hate me, right? I try and spread out doing videos that are actually got some reasonable information in and can promote discussion with stuff that is just like comedy, really. And that comedy thing's already there. These are the things, right, that make money. Music no longer makes money. It has to be attached to some of these things. But it's so powerful in its emotional kick that it's essential to be there. And that's where the money is made, right? We need to, rather than going and searching out, you know, people who are good looking that can stand in front on television and sing a song or play jazz and sell it. You know, there was never any ugly jazz musicians. You know, the John McLaughlins and the Pat Metheny's of this world were good looking people, you know, and they happen to be white as well. That also happened. And so it's always been like this. It's always been like this. People had to be charismatic, they had to be marketable. That was the old thing. Now you've got to be a character. Now you've got to be able to tell a story. Now you've got to be compelling. You have to put the music into a context. Now, Rob Luft. I would love a guy like that to, rather than having that letter written, because that just shows that the guys who wrote that letter, they don't know how to market him. If he's in the UK, really, he needs to come down to this channel, doesn't he? He needs to come into here and we need to sit and chat and go, look, what are you into? What's the story that you've got that's compelling? Once I know there's a compelling story there, I can say, right, let's try and get a top 10 or get an idea of a subject we could explore, which your music will feature in. And then we can place it into this video. You could come here, which is why I got this studio. I thought musicians from all over the world would go, I'm in the UK, I want to come over to your studio, Andy, and you can come up here and we can cook up something. You know, maybe we could look at, his favourite 10 guitarists, or he could look at his favourite techniques on guitar, or he could talk about 3 albums that changed his life, or he could talk about the problems of trying to be a jazz musician in the current climate, or we could do whatever you want, something that was compelling and interesting. And then I could do my job of thinking, well, how can I package that up with an interesting thumbnail and a clickbaity title and bring people to it, and then go, well, actually, this is actually quite interesting. This Rob Love, he seems like a really nice guy, and he was really affable, bloody good player. I might go and get his album. That is how we need to market music. Forget about the album. Forget about the tour. There's no money there. The money is here. This is why I've spent my time having this here. Right? I would love to be getting up in the music morning and somebody turns up at 9, 10 o'clock. They come in. It's all set up. We hit record and we play. Right? I want to present people warts and all. I want people to see what it's like to be a musician. I've done this with BD Lenz. BD gets it. He arrives from New Jersey, lands, first thing he did, get off the plane, driven over here. We made a video together, and I put him through the mill to prove what an incredible player he was. So anyone who's got a brain will go, bloody hell, BD just jet lagged, arrives in there, Andy's in there. Next thing, he's got him playing the chicken impromptu with the bass player he's never known. He's dubbing chicken noises over the top. You know, and some of you might be going, well, that sounds like an interesting video. I never saw that. Well, go and find it, because I still am not there. I can't do it. I haven't got enough of a brand yet to just sit here pushing out new music and helping new artists and helping the likes of Rod Bluff to be able to get some profile. But they have today. And the reason is, Mr. Luft, is because you happen to integrate into this story. But your marketing and who you are should have been doing that for me anyway. Right? I'm desperate for content. I've created the platform here. Do you understand what I'm saying? Does anyone understand what I'm saying here? The way you make money is through providing something that your music is attached to that brings an audience in, that something like YouTube can sell advertising to a very specific demographic that you don't need to understand, because their AI will work that out. That's what your job is to do. That's where your money is. The other way you'll make money is by having a club, and the club doesn't pay you for albums and doesn't pay you for tickets. We need to get to a point where people give the albums away and they give the tickets away. And the only way you can see that person is buying into the club, because there's more money to be made like that. And proper fans will save money, and fair weather fans will have to consider whether they want to be able to join this club. Now, that might mean that they need to play venues like I'm trying to set up here with my Sunday club, where you turn up and you play, and there might be only 20 people in the room, but they're only there to try and create the ambience. But it's a nice, quiet gig. Everyone else is at home on virtual reality, whatever you call it, not streaming, with the headphones on, watching it, feeling like they're there. And being able to interact with the artists. The whole industry needs to change. No one is accommodating for what the industry is like now. This is what this video is about. This is like about as important as it gets. But I know that this week I am doing talking videos. This week I'm talking about the industry. I've been talking about talent shows like X Factor. I've been talking about like TikTok and how that's not going to help anybody in the music industry. How money's being made. I am sat here doing this. This is going to kill my channel. It will kill my channel. Once I've got all these videos out, right, and they didn't get the views, and YouTube starts to go, what are you doing, Andy? I will be back in here doing the most overrated bloody drum stools, or 10 bass players that I hate. I bloody hate. And you... My problem is, I've been doing this for so long, as soon as I say it, there's a part of my brain going, well, who would that be? First one that came to my mind was Chris Squire. Why Chris Squire? It's not because I hate him. It's because if I say I hate him to the people who watch this channel, oh my God, Andy said he hates Chris Squire. Why do you hate Chris Squire for, Andy? Well, he's just really tall. I don't like a tall bass player. And when he used to stomp around the stage, he was very stompy. If I'd have been a drum music band, he would have been put me off with his big stompy legs. You can't stalk Hill of the Dead if like that. You can. Didn't like him. Don't like Jacko Pastor. It's the way he used to get on my nerves. What's wrong with Jacko? An hour of that. 60,000 views. Sorted out. But I'm not at the moment. I'm doing the right thing. And you know why I'm doing it? It's not because I want to be wholesome and do something that's good. It's because my brain is fried from doing that crap. And I didn't want to come in here today to do this. I'm becoming lax. Because sitting there and just moaning about how much I hate, it's the best job in the world. I was designed to do that job. I was designed to do it. But the truth is, this week, I'm coming, there's a load of videos coming out at the moment where I'm talking serious stuff. Right, I've had some experience in the industry. I'm not saying I know everything. It's just my opinion. Some of it might, resonate with some people out there who also work with the industry. They go, man, it's got a point there. I never thought of it like that. Or he's smack on dead right. Or I don't understand that. Whatever. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing the job that this YouTube should be doing. Mr. Luft, sorry for screwing your piece of paper up and throwing it in the background, but I hope that little bit of theatre you understand was essential to actually give you a bit of a push here, which I have done. But the only reason I've done that is because it was in context. I want people to understand what I've just done on this video. It's really hard to explain. If you like this video, put a like on. If you want to see some more, subscribe. If you want to become a patron, you can become a patron by becoming a patron. You can become a free member. You don't have to pay anything, just register. Or you can become a paid up member. You can also put some money in my tip jar to keep me going. I mean, if everyone stops doing that, I'm gone. This is the deal now. This is how I'm making my money. Unlike many music YouTubers out there who are just doing their thing and trying to get the views, I am trying to set something up. And one of the things I've set up is a thing called the Sunday Club. The link is down below. Again, that's another patron join, but it's not like my Patreon. This is a club for people that want to get involved in hopefully joining the first tier, where you get access to a whole bunch of live stream gigs. And I am taking the risk with my friend Steve Gould of booking bands from all over the world to come and play here. And we're trying to get 20 or 30 people signed up to the VIP. So they'll be our audience, local people who watch the channel, who don't mind coming down and being the audience in here. And it won't be like a normal gig. They're going to be involved in it. They're going to be part of the team. And then other people that will join, and hopefully this will grow into, say, 200 or 300 or 400 people, which means that when an artist comes to the UK and they're going to spend their own money going down doing 4 or 5 dates in the UK to an audience of probably, with the music we talk about here, maybe 30 or something like that, and they know what they've got, they go, yeah, but well, go down to Andy's. He'll have loads of like sausage rolls and cups of tea. We can sit, we'll meet some fans, and we can play his thing. And he has 200 people in that live stream. So it's worth doing. It's worth doing. And Mr. Luft, you would do it, wouldn't you? You'd turn up if they've had 300 or 400 people, and I might even be able to get you paid if everyone signs up to the Sunday Club. That's the way to keep this alive. I'm not stupid. I know this industry. That's why I'm doing it. If it works, it will be amazing. And 3 or 4 years down the line, it might be 1,000 quid. 1,000 virtual online streamers, which would be 5 grand a gig. So now I can say to people, do you want to come to the UK? We'll fund it. You can do a gig there, do a gig there. Come down to mine. We'll pay you a big band. They'll get you over. Right? And I just want to tell you, just so you'll realise what a good and decent person I'm not taking any money for this one, the Sunday Club. I'm happy to take my money out of this channel, but the Sunday Club is something different. I want that money spent on creating something for new artists. Why? So I can jump on it every now and then. But more to the point, there is so many incredible players out there, and they don't know what to do. That's why you get these handwritten letters like this being sent to someone like me. They know that's where it's at. And we have the control. This is so important, this video is. I've said it all. And I've said like and subscribe. I've done that. I'm out of here. See you. Bye-bye.